Hi guys. Hey cousins. Hey black girl buffering family. It's Millie. I'm back and I'm better. This feels good. I'm like literally smiling. I hope you can see, hear, feel my smile through your speakers, or you are looking at me cheesing right now because I'm just mad happy. Um, yeah, it has been a minute. It's been a little minute. If you could see on my screen, it says my last episode was August 6th. It is currently October 29th, 7:34 p.m. I had me a little break. I had me a little life breakdown, life little crisis. Um, but yeah, we are back and we're better. So let's, further ado, we are going to go ahead and dive in. I'm going to do my intro like old time's sake, like always. If you see me looking down, it's literally because I have my notes. It won't be like nothing crazy because honestly, this is really just to sit down and talk. We're going to take a breath first because we just need to woosah all of the negativity and inhale all the positivity. So that felt amazing. That felt great. I just got off work too. So, and let's further ado. You've just tapped into Black Girl Buffering, where healing isn't linear and softness is sacred. This space is still for the still girls, still learning, still listening, and still loading. And today, I'm just easing back into things, easing back into softness, no pressure, no perfection, no none of that, just me and my presence and us, cousins, family. So let's take another breath before we begin. And let's start. Yay! Oh my goodness. Nah, for real, y'all. I did all of that blabbing in the beginning, but real stuff, like real shit, I've been going through it the last few months. Now I'm okay. I'm in a good mental space. I am way better than I was 2 months ago, or even shoot like 5, 6 months ago. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like today's episode is called Uncomfortable, okay? Uncomfortable, comma, okay? Okay? You could use it as a question, okay? Or okay. Like for real. I'm uncomfortable, okay? Damn. Just let me give me a breather. Please. Just let me breathe. Just let me chill, yo. That's how I've been feeling for like the last few months. I think where we left off, I was just catching up on what I had going on. Starting a new job. Um I think I was like probably maybe talking about my life purpose. I'm not too sure. I just know that I was telling y'all about what I had going on, and that was that. So the last 2 months, September and October, and also end of August, like the last 3 weeks of August, has been a lot of development, a lot of self-reflection, and a lot of being uncomfortable and trying to progress through it, trying to navigate through my uncomfortability. I'm trying to pinpoint where it's coming from and why I feel this way. So, yeah, we're going to dive into that. I really don't want today's episode to be like way too long. So, we're just going to cut straight to the chase, baby. So yeah, like feeling uncomfortable. I'm not even going to lie. The last few months, especially September, end of August, October, not too much October, maybe like the beginning of October, but mainly end of August and September, I was in such a uncomfortable space, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. I feel as though it was stemming from work. I feel like it was stemming from my new job and trying to grasp everything that entails or is within the job. Uh, Sorry for my ums and my ahs, y'all. This I gotta get back into the groove of talking without filler words. But yeah, so look at that. But yeah, so you see that? Anyway, but yeah, feeling uncomfortable, just feeling like not myself, like on some outer body stuff, like not, and I don't mean, when I say outer body, I genuinely don't mean on the like demonic, spiritual, like that. No, I mean like I just genuinely was not feeling like myself. I felt like a snake in new skin. Right? Like it's a little itchy. This is a little, just don't feel right. This don't feel like my norm. And I took that uncomfortability and I used it as a way to self reflect. I used it as a way to notice changes. Notice, why is it that I'm starting a new job and it's just not going how most new job feelings go, when I have a new job. I felt as though this job, or when I was first going through the training process and everything, it entails so much that it made me second guess everything. It made me question myself. It made me feel like uncertain, like I don't know what I'm talking about. And that added to me being uncomfortable, because it's like now I feel like that's going into my intuition. That's going into me not trusting myself. That's going into me feeling like I have to ask everybody else and my say so doesn't mean anything. And I did not like that at all, because that was never the case. Before going through that feeling, I was always certain in anything that I had going on. Of course, I would double check with certain people, or, do my research on certain things. But yeah, that was my first inkling to being uncomfortable and trying to pinpoint where it's coming from. So that was really the biggest thing, was not trusting myself anymore, no longer having intuition in the things that I needed to have intuition in. Even just something as simple as, what am I going to eat today? That was a struggle for me. So I realized it was trickling into my personal life. And I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. But I also didn't know how to navigate, nor did I know what else to do from that point on. Like, okay, now I know it and I'm noticing the change. But now what do I do from that point on? Like, where do I go? Like, what purpose do I have? And what direction am I going to go in? So yeah, so I want to say, like, when it comes to being uncomfortable, noticing the change is the first thing, that first sign that things were shifting or uncomfortable. When things that felt good to me started to feel heavy. Like, I'm a smoker, like, so I will say that even doing that recreationally, I felt like I was consuming more. I was doing way more of it. And I personally didn't like that, because I felt like I was becoming unproductive. And then that was trickling into everything else. And I felt like I was like more dependent on it. And I was using it as a numbing mechanism for myself, instead of just using it recreationally just to relieve stress. Um, I didn't like I definitely took a break. I took a good little break. I'm not even going to lie, probably like end of July. So even before all this was happening, I was taking a break because I was already feeling that way. And I was just like, I feel crazy right now. Even just doing just my regular stuff, like my podcast, that was also something that felt good to me, but it felt heavy when I was going through this uncomfortable shift. And that's why I really, something that I felt like, oh, well, why don't I just turn the camera on and just talk about what I'm going through and talk about it or whatever. I didn't even want to do that. I didn't want to do that. Like, I just leave me alone. I didn't want to talk to anybody. So just things like that, noticing specific things, not wanting to journal. My anxiety was coming back, not wanting to go out by myself again, and feeling motivated but unmotivated at the same time, if that makes any sense. Like having the feeling of motivation but not having a call to action to go ahead and do so. So it made me question myself, as far as, am I outgrowing something, or am I being called to grow within something? And that is kind of how I took the direction of that, of being uncomfortable. And you see, now I could better articulate myself now, but I kid you not, let this be 2 months ago, or let this be August, when I was initially going through all of this like mental stress, I would not be able to articulate any of this because I was really trying to. When I say I was mad confused, like you can ask my boyfriend, like you can ask my friends, like it took me a while to come to them about it, but I kid you not, like I was really ripping my hair out. Like I was trying to figure out, like, yo, something is not right. Like something's not. I don't know. Like this just not my norm. Like usually, like, I could pick up things at a job 2.5. It's never like it's never nothing crazy. I don't know. So yeah, so it's just like now noticing the change, but then having a purpose or a direction. Where am I going? So I've noticed it, and now where am I going to go with being uncomfortable with this weird shift, with all of this going on? And going back to being uncertain and questioning myself and my intuition, I started questioning my life's purpose, and I started questioning what am I here for? And literally not even trying to be on no suicidal stuff or like morbid or anything, but dead ass. Like it was really on some I'm questioning myself, like, what am I here for? I don't got no kids. I'm 24. I can say that. Sorry, I was gonna say 23. I'm 24. You feel me? Like I'm really just on some what, like, seriously, like not suicidally, like please don't like report me to nobody's hotline, but dead ass, like what am I doing this for? What is this for? You feel me? Like, so I was questioning myself in that aspect. And again, I was not suicidal or nothing. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. I don't need nobody hitting my line. I'm okay. But yes, I was questioning myself on that standpoint. I was questioning myself career wise. Am I okay? And purpose wise. I said in the beginning of, I want to say like 2024, end of 2023, like I was trying to find my life purpose, and my life purpose was selflessness, being selfless. I feel like being a doula, that is the career that I still want to choose, but I was questioning myself, even if I even still wanted to do it. Like, was this a good decision? Like, should I have purchased the classes? Is this something that I genuinely wanted to do, or do I just feel like this is just like a getaway, get out of free jail card or whatever, get out of jail free card? Yeah, sorry. But yeah, and just mainly asking myself, am I still aligned with what I started out doing, or has it changed? And within that process, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't change. Yes, I was questioning myself, but then it gets to a point where I'm like, come on, you being dramatic. Like, you're being dramatic. Like, come on. Like, yo, like, fuck up. You being dramatic. But nah, sometimes you have to go through those dramatic thought processes to understand, like, you're in the right place, you are doing the right things. There are things that are outside of your control, but what can you do about it? So yeah, so it's just like, when it comes to purpose and direction and refinding that or questioning yourself about it, I think the best question that one I was asking myself, and also to ask yourself, is what does success look like for me now? Okay, I'm dwelling on all these other things, but what does success look like for me right now? For me personally, success looks like deciphering what makes me feel whole and what makes me feel empty. Success looks like disciplining myself. Success looks like gaining happiness and wholeness out of the things that I am purposely and intentfully putting myself into. And the biggest thing besides discipline is finding motivation in things even when I don't want to do it, because I am a big stickler, not stickler, but I'm a stickler is the wrong word. The opposite of stickler. I am the biggest procrastinator ever. I'm the biggest, like, yeah, I got my mind set on it, but my body don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. I literally just don't want to do it. And that would just be my only reason. And I let that go on for but so long. Like, I just don't want to. I just don't want to. But you know how many things that I just don't, excuse me, I just don't want to do, and I have to do them, like go to work. I don't want to go to work, but I have to go to work. Why? Because I'm the one paying my bills. Duh. Like, yeah, so trying to find discipline, trying to find motivation, and that's what success is to me, ideally, in the place that I'm in right now. What is going to get me out of what I'm feeling like right now. That doesn't mean that this will be my answer will be the same within the next year, within the next 6 months. Discipline will always be an answer for me. I'm sorry, but discipline, discipline, discipline. But all everything else, it may change, you know? And lastly, when it comes to this category or when it comes to this topic of purpose and direction, like I stated prior, my felt like my life purpose is to be selfless, not selfish, but selfless again. There's an again. As an older sibling, you understand. The older siblings get it. Or an only child, you may understand too. But selflessness, I also had to have a conversation with myself about subcategories of selflessness and how selfless do I want to be? Because I feel like regardless of the matter, it's going to come with boundaries. You know, I'm going to have some type of stop, some type of safe words, something to just be like, all right, yes, I'm selfless and I'm giving myself, but to a certain extent, you know, to a certain like I ain't giving it out. I ain't giving it all out now. Like that's not what I'm doing. But yeah, I had to really come to terms with like I truly believe that there are levels of selflessness. And I think in the field that I want to go into as far as becoming a doula is figuring out, you know, being more hands-on. Do I want to be a childbirth educator? Do I want to just teach? Do I just want to give the resources? Do I, things like that. So I'm really realizing that the category of selflessness that I would like to be in or consider myself in is to give resources, be a teacher and be a guide. Do, of course, when it comes to being a doula, that's different. You definitely do have to do hands on and showing things and everything like that. But I don't, I'm noticing that I do not want to, I need to say this in the best way. I don't want to give you the answer, right? I want to give you the resource. I will help you. I will guide you through it. But I don't want to just give you the answer. And I mean this with all aspects in my life, not even just career wise or purpose wise, but I'm a person where I like to teach, I like to guide, I like to educate. I like to see that what I'm saying to you is being applied and that it's being applied correctly. So, yeah, like for me, it's just, I don't want to do it for you. I would like to teach you, I'll show you, we do it together, and then you prevail on. Come back to me if you got any questions. Like I'm just that type of person. I really just think that's because of my patience. It's just not. But that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, so learning that selflessness has subcategories and that it is definitely okay to come to terms with that. There was a weird pause, I'm sorry. But come to terms with that. And yeah. So we talked about noticing the change. We talked about direction and purpose and questioning. My next topic is going to be how being uncomfortable can affect relationships and boundaries. And I feel like that's a given. Of course, we are going to shift and become uncomfortable in ourselves, but it's going to trickle down into the relationships that you keep as well. When it comes to family, when it comes to significant other, when it comes to friends. When I talk to my therapist about being uncomfortable, feeling weird, having this weird feeling of just like all these changes and everything, and being in a place where I go through this, usually I would isolate myself. That is my just holy grail. I'm just going to isolate myself. I'm going to take myself away from the equation. I'm going to take myself away from the world. And I'm just going to focus on myself and focus on whatever I need to focus on to better myself, right? But I also felt like when I was in those isolations, or isolating periods that I felt lonely, that I felt like, dang, I still do kind of need community. I am going through this alone, but no one really wants to ultimately go through things alone. Solitude is good, but to a certain extent, you are going to need some type of, not need, but you are going to want community around you when you are going through tough times. So she let me know that, I should not distance myself. I should not isolate myself. I should be able to be comfortable to going to my boyfriend, to going to my, best of friends, to going to just people who I do have connections with and letting them know, hey, I'm going through something, not looking for a solution, not looking for this, that, and the third. It's just coming to you and venting and just letting you know I'm going through this and this is exactly what I'm going through. And I did that. I did just that. I followed her steps. I followed what she said. And I had a conversation with my boyfriend, a very deep conversation. I just had to let him know, like, hey, I, I suffer from depression and anxiety. And not to say like, oh, my boyfriend didn't know these things. He did, like having conversations here and there, but having an actual deep conversation to let somebody know that you are suffering. Not, I don't even like suffering. I don't like that word, but you tend to go through these periods or you tend to go through certain things mentally. And this is something that I've been going through since high school. And coming forth and having that conversation with him was such a it was such a relief, was such a good moment for me. I feel like that's a lot for the other party to take in, handle. So I personally was not looking for this theatrical crazy response like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm about to take care of you hand and foot, oh my gosh, Camille, like, bang, like, yes, yes. No, I wasn't looking for all of that. It was just I just need you to listen, hear me out, understand, give me grace. And just he did just that. My friends as well, having a conversation with my friend and kind of letting her know, yo, like, this is what I'm going through. I'm going through X, Y, and Z. And as a good friend, she understood and she was just like, Camille, don't ever feel like you're a burden. Don't ever feel like you can't come to us. Like, that's literally the reason we are here. And when I say, again, another conversation where it felt so good and it was just like, whoa, this is what this feels like, to tell people what you're going through. Sad to say it, crazy to say out loud, but dead ass. Like, this is what this feels like. This feels amazing, but not really, because I'm a person where I personally don't like telling my business. It's not even telling I don't like telling nothing I'm going through, because I feel like I don't want to feel like I'm nagging. I don't want to feel like I'm constantly going through something. I don't want to feel like such a negative person. I don't want to feel like all these things I'm labeling myself. No one else is labeling me as these things. I'm labeling myself as these things. But it's just, again, it's like I just don't want to feel like I'm always talking about something negative. But it's like, Camille, what can you do if only negative things are going on in your life at the moment? But you can look at the positive. I'm alive and I'm well and I'm grateful for it. Sometimes that's just not enough. On certain days to be like, all right, I need something else. But other days it's like, okay, like I'm cool, like I'm alive, like it can be worse. Is this my worst right now? Possibly, but it can be worse. I don't personally like when people say that stuff to me, but like, yeah, it can be worse. But yeah, I feel like I'm like running through this right now. But that's just because I have so many things, so many, like, I done already kind of like put this all in a nitty gritty. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base on just like where I was and what I was feeling. And the one word to label it was unfucking comfortable. Just uncomfortable in my own skin, feeling like I did not know who I was and what body I was in. And learning and needing to navigate that mentally and having to get out of it, having to crawl out that space. But I feel like even with all of that work of finding direction in my uncomfortableness, I'm still going to be sitting in my in between period. You know, I think the hardest part of being uncomfortable is not knowing where it's going, where it's leading, and where it's taking you. And it's a weird space in between the beginning and the end, or the end and the beginning, vice versa. And I feel like it's always going to be that. It's always going to be that weird space. But I am slowly getting my intuition back. You know, I'm slowly trusting, not getting it back, but trusting my intuition. I'm slowly trusting myself again. And the things that I say, word is bond. Period. Like, I said it, word is bond. Period. Like, Camille said that. Like, you know, I mean, like I said that. So, sorry, I got a water break. So, yeah. So, it's just like, the last question is really going to be, what if the uncertainty is guidance in disguise? Yeah, yeah. And I think that is what the situation was for the last couple months. Was I feel as though this was genuinely supposed to guide me to question myself on purpose, you know? Question why. Like, what are you doing this all for? Like, not even what are you doing this for, but for real, like, really questioning myself, making sure that I'm locked in with myself. And I think that being uncertain allows for you to ask the unasked questions and go back to the root of things. It forces you to come to acceptance of change, whether you like it or not. It's a sign that you need to reevaluate. It's a sign that self reflection is needed. You need to do a peer review. You need to do a quarterly review, you know, check in with yourself. And it guides you more than you know. It may be uncomfortable, like the time period that I was feeling, but it's needed. And it makes you have a call to action, you know? I feel like that is what pumps you up. During this time period, I created a new routine for myself. I reached out and I've been more vocal of the things I want and do not want. I have been, you know, just being vocal at the end of the day. And the biggest thing my therapist told me is that nobody can help you if you are not letting them know how to help you, and if you are not letting them know if you need help at the end of the day. So that has been my biggest thing, is just being so raw and uncut these last few months and these last few weeks. So yeah, so I feel like the last thing that I really want to say is that life goes on. You can't sulk on what cannot be edited at this very moment, or, you know, you just can't do it. You can't control nothing you can't control. Control what you can and leave what you can't at the end of the day. The economy is the way it is. The world is the way it is right now. There's so many things going on. Trying to have so much control over stuff is, you're going to lose that battle, right? You're like, at some point in time, not forever, but in certain battles, you know, you got to pick and choose. Um, and it's something that I saw on TikTok. I'm like chronically online, but there was this video, lastly, and it was these little boys. They were playing football, and it was one little boy. He didn't want to do the drills. And at the end of the thing, they called the mother. The mother embarrassed him in front of his teammates. And one of his teammates, this little boy, he was like the smallest boy on the team. He stood up. They was doing a little huddle. He stood up and he was trying to speak life into his teammate that was feeling down about himself. And one of the biggest things that stuck with me that he said, mind just a little ass boy, like he gotta be probably like 12. And it was such a small thing, but he said that you already have it, you just don't want it. Literally, that's all he said. He said, you already got it, you just don't want it. And when I say that, put a battery on my back, that put a battery on my, I kid you not. I watched that probably like a few weeks ago, and I have been up ever since. What? That little boy said, you already have it. You just don't want it. Yeah. And I completely agree. It's already in you. You have the skills, you have the mindset, you have the skill set. I said that twice. But you have it all already. It's all in your hands. It's a matter of what you're going to do with it. You just don't want to do nothing with it. So, yeah, take that and use that. If you're in an uncomfortable period right now, I promise you it is okay. It is fine. And it is also okay to not be okay. Let's take it there. But yeah, if you need to fill a void temporarily with going shopping, getting your hair done, doing maintenance, getting your nails, your lashes, all of that done. If that is going to temporarily make you happy for the time being, please do it. I kid you not. That's why I keep saying it temporary void, because it's not gonna be forever. You know, sometimes listen, I sit there and get my braids done, and I'll be crying in a chair. Shoot, like, but yeah, like that's it. That's all. I personally feel like I said a mouthful just now, but I had there was intention, and there was direction, and all the things that I wanted to say. So we talked about noticing the change, having a purpose and direction, and figuring that out, and questioning the uncertainty. We talked about how being uncomfortable feels in relationships, and how it trickles down into those, and having those uncomfortable conversations with people about telling them what you're going through and what you have going on. It don't have to be detailed, it don't have to be nothing crazy. But yeah, that's it. I hope it didn't feel rushed. I don't know what this felt like, but it feels good to be back. It feels good to have even recorded this and got up, because it took me a long time to even get to the place that I am now, but I'm here. And just like that little boy said, you already have it. You just don't want it. So that's all for today's episode, my lovies, my cousins, and my family. I love coming back after a pause. It feels a little awkward, but it feels like stretching a muscle that I have not used in a while. Oh, and I'm back in the gym consistently, so that was a cute little yeah. But yeah, that's it. I want you to know that if you are in your in between right now, between your end and your beginning, between your old life and your new life, it is going to be a fun and exciting ride, and I hope you make it worthwhile. So, thank you for buffering with me and for holding space for me in your ears and your screens. Until next time, and remember to keep. I'm about to mess up my outro. And remember, still loading, still healing, still here. Catch us every other week. We're not gonna do Mondays. I'm gonna change it up. That's why I don't like the Monday thing. But catch me every other week, or just stay tuned on our Instagram for more updates on when our next episode will be, and what other fun and exciting things that we have to offer. And I love you guys so much. It feels so good to be back. And bye. You're listening to Black Girl Buffering.